Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. I welcome the opportunity to take part in this afternoon's debate. It clearly comes at a very important time of economic crisis at home and abroad. On the international front, we have recently seen US job losses of 524,000. The price of oil has dropped to $45 a barrel, and German output has slumped by 6.6%. At home in the last year, 20,000 construction jobs have been lost. Unemployment has risen by 13,000, and only this morning was the announcement that Scottish GDP figures had contracted by 0.8%. At this time, clearly, setting a budget presents a tremendous challenge, but also an opportunity to try and protect Scotland from the ravages of the recession. At UK level, the UK Government came forward with an economic stimulus package which supported families and businesses throughout the country. But I am afraid, in terms of this budget, it is short of the mark. What I would like to do in terms of looking at the priorities... I will give way to Alec Neil.
Point out to him that of the £113 billion being borrowed by the UK Government this year, only £18 billion is of the stimulus. Perhaps a large part of the problem and the reason why we are in the mess we are in is the other 90-odd billion has been misspent by Gordon Brown.
Mr Kelly.
I point out to Alec Neil that when we discussed the pre-budget report, the stimulus package was welcomed by the Cabinet Secretary at that time, and I believe that that package provides a welcome boost to the UK economy, including Scotland. In terms of the priorities for the Scottish budget, if I could perhaps point to a couple of examples within my own constituency which I believe will resonate throughout Scotland. Unfortunately, in the last week we have seen the loss of 150 jobs at the Vion plant in Cambuslang, and clearly we are seeing job losses being announced on a regular basis throughout Scotland. At times like this, we are looking for a package which will boost communities, which will boost jobs and which will invest in skills. These are the priorities. In addition to that, I would suggest that the protection of the NHS is also a priority. In Rutherglen and Cambuslang there are 37 GPs. That is the fourth lowest of the 73 Scottish parliamentary constituencies throughout Scotland. At a time when we need to address the issue of health inequalities, the NHS budget becomes more important. In terms of what the Scottish Government has delivered in these areas, I believe that they have come up short. In relation to jobs and skills, they have not supported the Labour Party proposal to produce a total of 23,400 apprentices over the 3-year period. I believe that proposal is correct at this time for two reasons. First of all, it would produce a boost in jobs and it would help our young people, but it would also skill up for the future when we come out of the recession in terms of this economic downturn. In relation to the NHS, the budget does not pass on the full 3.9% increase in health spending to health boards. It only passes on 3.2%. And what that therefore means is that health boards are faced with serious challenges in terms of trying to deliver primary care facilities and frontline services. We are not protecting our NHS. In relation to funding some of these commitments, I would point out that there is a cumulative underspend of £65 million to date over the period of the spending review, and that would fund the spending required to make the shortfall in NHS board budgets. I also believe that the Government should ditch the Scottish Futures Trust. For a start, that would raise £23 million in terms of the budget of that organisation, and particularly in relation to the payroll costs, which very much make up film star type wages, to coin a phrase. I also believe that if the government are serious about boosting the economy, they should drop the local income tax, and that would bring forward £281 million from future budgets. Deputy Presiding Officer, I think this budget should be opposed. It does not meet the needs of our times. It does not invest in skills, jobs or protect the NHS. The budget has been supported by the Tories, the lapdogs of the SNP, and it does not provide the answers. It is short on hope and inspiration, and at 5 o'clock I think the message should go out from this chamber. Time to think again, Mr Swinney.